It's a hashtag hired mini-sode, real bite-sized success stories from real VirtForce candidates. This week, we are trying a new format where I start the beginning of this episode with a quick hashtag hired tip that should help you once you get hashtag hired or on your way to getting hashtag hired. This week is dress for success, and I know this is cliche, it's burnt out, you've heard it a million times, but let me tell you why it's important. I hired someone for my team 6 weeks ago, and not once has she shown up to a video interview with me or a video meeting with me or anyone else on our team or any of our clients not completely dressed professionally. And it surprises me because our dress code policy at VirtForce is athleisure internally, but it does show me how much she values this position, how much she values our time, and that she values working for our company. And it means a lot to me. So, my tip for you this week involves a link to a shirt that she wore. So this shirt, I call it the perfect professional shirt. As soon as I saw her pop up on camera with it, I asked, "Where did you get that?" And I was shook to find out that it came from Amazon. So, I ordered one. It's like a high collar. It's great for being on camera. You can wear it with a blazer. You can wear it without a blazer. I should have worn it for this video, but that's okay. I'm gonna link it below, and I encourage you to invest in great on-camera shirts, even though this one is under $25. All right, let's roll into our hashtag hired success story of the week. This week, we meet Cailey Shivers, who was living in the same place for 8 years, and then suddenly, like many of us, found herself PCSing every 2 years, which brought her into that cycle of, I really want to work, but I really don't want to reinvent myself every 2 years. A silver lining to COVID was that she got to taste remote work for the first time. And now we get to hear from her today during our hashtag hired success story to learn about her new remote role and how she's pursuing a promotion.
Virtual employment is here to stay. I'm military spouse, VirtForce founder, and your remote work expert, Kimber Hill. Subscribe now to learn how you too can thrive in the virtual workforce.
So I heard about VirtForce when I found out we'd be PCSing across the country after 8 years of being stationed in one location. I joined the Hampton Roads Hiring Our Heroes Facebook group to get leads on new local ideas for employment. And through there, someone mentioned looking for remote options, which was an interesting idea to me. We'd all gotten a taste of working remotely through the pandemic slightly, but I had never actually considered that as a realistic option for the future. And through that group, the VirtForce group was suggested. And from there, I just discovered a whole new world of options that I had never even considered before. The VirtForce helped me begin my exploration into the idea of permanently working remotely and what that would mean for me as a military spouse. The idea that I would not have to change jobs simply because we had to move. We were about to be entering a time period of quicker moves after having been stationed one place 8 years. The idea of having to move every 2 years for the next probably 6 was really daunting to me because I wanted to work, and so the idea of not having to leave a job just because we were moving was really intriguing to me. And the group VirtForce directed me to so many different types of remote jobs, and many I'd never even, heard of before, and companies that were actively hiring, and all the different processes that were required for interviews. It was just a really supportive group. People were, providing advice and suggestions for going through the process of remote hiring. So Resume Bootcamp, at first I began applying to as many opportunities as I could. I looked at it like a numbers game, sort of shots on the goal. I absolutely knew that it was important to target my resume for the job description. So I did manage to do that to an extent. However, coming straight from a government civilian position that I was in, I was working off of my federal resume, which is very long. And because I was doing that numbers game, my resumes for each job were what I would describe as closely matching, but not exact. And so looking back, it was no surprise really that I didn't have recruiters knocking down my door. When I came across the job description for the job, the one I really wanted and that I'm in now, I knew I wanted to get this right. So I deep dove into the VirtForce podcast, listened to all the free material that they had available there. And then I bought the resume bootcamp and revamped my resume over a single weekend. I was just, head first into it. And I emailed the contact for getting somebody to review my resume, and not realizing that Kimber was on maternity leave during that time. But within days, she responded to me with the most valuable, encouraging critique. In addition to giving me lots of constructive and actionable advice, she mentioned in her response that she genuinely felt like I'd be a great fit for this role. And it was just exactly what I needed to hear. I needed that. I so appreciated that encouragement to give me an extra little boost. So I'm working for a firm called Education First Consulting. It's a mission-driven strategy and policy organization dedicated to helping clients navigate through the complexity to create more people-focused, equitable, and inclusive initiatives, strategies, and organizations in the education field. So I am brand new, and still learning about all the different projects that they do, but it's a great organization, and they're really intentional about, so far I've noticed they're very intentional about creating a really great culture internally, and that just spills out to everything that they do. So I'm an executive assistant, and so I am basically doing all scheduling, coordination, administrative assistant work for their C-suite executives. So I support a team of 3 and sometimes more than that of the higher level, chief level executives at the company. I would say this job is a perfect fit for me right now and my experience. It sort of blends together beautifully, all the things that I've done in the past, and I'm really happy to be where I'm at right now with this job. I think I'm really excited about possibilities down the line of getting more involved in their projects, and I'm sort of doing some personal professional development on the side, trying to learn more in the tech fields and how I can sort of incorporate that into what I do. I love visual data and making graphs and things like that, and there's definitely a space for that within this same company. So I'm really honestly excited to see where I might be able to grow within the company itself. I am full-time, completely remote. The entire company is remote, and it always has been since, I believe, 2008. So they're sort of ahead of their time in the remote field, I'd say. So no matter where we move, CONUS, I can stay with this position. It wouldn't quite work if I go CONUS, however, and that's mainly because they want everyone to stay within the 3-hour time zone exchange and things like that. So yeah, as long as I am CONUS, I would be able to stay with the company. I would say I'm very happy in my new role. I'm just getting started, but I'm in that sweet spot where I'm a month in, so I'm in a routine now, and I'm starting to understand my responsibilities a little bit and the different procedures that they all use and everything, and starting to get to know people. I really love that this company makes a big focus on getting to know one another, especially since, everybody is remote. They highly encourage, taking the time to schedule, they call them little coffee chats over Zoom with different people in the company, not even the same people on your team, trying to reach out and get to know other people on other teams, and sort of to augment what that would be like, meeting at the water cooler and just sort of talking about your life and who you are as a person. And that way you aren't really missing out on that in-person connection if you're taking the time to get to know your coworkers over Zoom. I would love to just see where it might take me. This company's really seems very intentional and good about feedback and things and professional development. So I'm just very excited to see where that might go. I'm interested in data visualization and things like that, and I've been learning on my own different technology in the technology sector, looking into getting different certifications and things like that will help me as an executive assistant and, just moving forward, just seeing where that might go. I began my search in probably about December of 2020, since we knew that we would be moving. I was currently still working as a government civilian on base at our former location. So I just, was definitely kind of utilizing that time to get my job search going. It was tough because I didn't want to leave my current position too early, but I wanted to make sure that I had something good lined up. So I started applying probably about January of 2021, and it took me a good up until May that I applied for this role, and I was continuing to apply for other roles as well. So I definitely, it was a long process. So I encourage people not to get disheartened if it's taking a long time, because these things just do take time. I would recommend to anybody that's out there looking to definitely not narrow your search so small that you're letting good opportunities pass you by. Definitely just look into the job description. Don't be hung up on the title, the position title. Like if it sounds like something you're like, I have no idea what that is. Look a little deeper into the description, because you might be surprised to know that you actually do have the credentials and the experience that they're looking for. Even though it's a title that sounds like something you've never heard of, it might just be the right fit for you. So definitely keep an open mind when you're searching, and don't lose hope, because it's a lot out there, and there's a lot of positions available, and the doors are wide open with remote. You can be working for a company that's based out of across the country, and yeah. So that would be what my best advice would just to be to keep an open mind and not lose heart.
A note for Cailey. Cailey, I am so excited that my resume critique got you #hired or helped you get there. But I knew from the moment that I read your resume, you were going to be a fantastic executive assistant at Education First. So congratulations. Also, I'm super proud of you for pursuing that career certification that you're working on. I know you're going to nail it. Keep us updated on your journey with that certification. And I definitely want to hear about when you get promoted. We want to do a follow-up success story on your promotion when you achieve that. Also, listener, if you want to get your resume critiqued just like Cailey, all you have to do is take my free resume bootcamp course. You can sign up at bit.ly/VF-RR. Take the course, send me an updated resume, and I will critique it for free in our private Facebook group for Rocket Remote students. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week.